Fear of God in my eyes. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Pray that the stitches don't bust at the seams. I hear the voices, but what do they mean? Swear to God, I'm a ride. Watch the false prophets and energy thieves. I seen it all in this third world regime. I can't relate to them faced with them schemes. Walk through the valley in shadows of death. Boy, I ain't flinching at all. Black out my heart just to go kill them all. Wake up and pray, I was never involved. Whoa, I had a beautiful day. Step on the devil while I'm on the way. Conflicted, my heart is the least you can say. But I can't be stressing about shit I won't change. Fall back, you ain't about that action. Yeah. Stay focused, never be lacking. Yeah. Overdosed on all my passions. Yeah. My cup overflow if I ain't giving back, nah. Yeah. That's it. Fear of God, that's it. That's one of my favorites. Yo, what's good? It's your boy Blxck Kxng, rapper and recording artist, and you're now tuned into my interview with the promo goddess. Stay tuned.
I'ma make the best of with it. Hella bottles, hella women, hella drugs and hella sinning. Fill my cup up till it's spinning. World is mine, is how I'm living. Lighting up that tunnel vision. I've been on a money mission for the squad that's on the vision. Multiply the profit, split it. Till my casket drop, I'm with it. Pray to God forgive me for this life I'm living. Hella sinning. Drugs inside my system, losing my religion. Fucked up. Pray to God forgive me for this life I'm living. Hella sinning. Drugs inside my system.
So I got started in music. It's been back in the day when I started writing. I think I was about 12 years old when I actually started writing. But when I started taking it seriously, I think I was 18. I had just got to college at Ball State. And I met a lot of the homies, including my boy Distinct, my boy Rhetoric, rest in peace, my boy Reyes Boom, my boy Stilo Clay. We all linked up and formed the 3RD. That's the third flow unit that we all got, you know what I'm saying? But that's when we really started taking music seriously, and I started to record and actually try to groom myself as an artist instead of just writing some bars in a notebook, you feel me? But Third Flow is like, we're not a label as much so as we're a family. It's not a collective, we're really a family. Like we all met around 2011 through 2012, I'd say. We all got together and it's a deep group. It's about 18, 19 guys in that mug. And a lot of other people that we just fuck with, you feel me? We don't fit in any certain box. We got artists that do alternative rock. Obviously, we got hip hop artists, we have poets. One of my homies is a comedian, but it's all about just being a brotherhood and actually like trying to find that support in one another. We all came from a similar background, so I think we learned how to confide in one another, and we learn how to become men together. And that's what the whole Third Flow thing is about. It's not as simple as just rap. Like this is way deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Like those are my brothers. It's a lot more than just making music. You know what I mean?
Pray to God forgive me for this life I'm living. Hella wicked. Fucked up in my mind. I think these demons started fellowshipping. I can't waste no time hoping.
So the album Villain, the way that it came about, it came out of a really trying period in my life when I was just kind of bouncing off the walls, living in my 20s, and you know, the live fast, die young mentality, trying to have fun by any means necessary and do whatever you gotta do, whatever you wanna do, and fuck who tell you otherwise. But Villain really was the embodiment of that, but it also, through that, it came to, you know, you have to come to light and you have to eventually grow out of this. And that's like tracks like Fear of God and the title track Villain itself is those two tracks. They depict me coming out of that dark pit, out of that valley of death, out of that shadow, you know what I'm saying? And to try to get back to the path of righteousness. And then you got obviously tracks like Wicked and tracks like Teflon Tesla that tell you what was really going on behind the scenes while we was living through that life, while we was having some fun, and tell you what we was doing, how we was funding that life, you feel me, how we was going through it. But it's all music, you know what I'm saying? It all touched me deeply, and I felt like it was a perfect time for me to put that body of work together and give it out to the world so I can kind of just say bye to that character, that person that I was at that point in time. I think the most relatable song on the album, it's damn near, it's gotta be Villain. That's gotta be the most relatable song. It's so melancholy it hits you, it hits home. It's a different type of feel. It's like the blue hop that I love to call it. I love to call it blue hop. I grew up on the blues, so I love to try to incorporate that type of voice and that type, you know what I'm saying, those type of tools into my sound. And it tugs at your heartstrings, and it's hard to not, you know what I'm saying, resonate with that. It's like, bitch, I'm a villain, I'm filled with hate, the love lost, all my feelings, they flew away, at what cost? Like, everybody done felt that way before. I'm just at a wall, I'm in a dark spot, and like everything, like I'm numb, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody done felt that before, everybody done been there before, and that song is like the battle cry for a wounded warrior, you feel me? And there's a lot of people out there that fit that criteria, and I feel like that's the one. My favorite song, that's hard, yo. That's tough, man. You know I wrote these shits, right? They all my favorite. I think
when he was at his release, he said it's my favorite song on the album, on every song.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. It should be my favorite song like a motherfucker. But man, I think Teflon Tesla is my favorite, John. That's my favorite, John. Teflon Tesla is a different vibe. That came from, I don't even know where the fuck that song came from. Like, I think I was just singing one day in the house, just bouncing around, singing, doing some goofy shit. And I came up with that, and I was like, yo, this is actually hard. I need to put this on wax, put this on paper. And that motherfucker, it came out exactly how I wanted to. And I still got so much room to play with it. And oh man, that motherfucking vibe is different than anything that we get from other people. It was something that you wouldn't expect. It was like a quick left hook in the middle of the album. It's like, where did this come from? This Latin vibe come from? It's like, oh man, yeah, that's my favorite, John. That mug is special. That's special. Glow. Yeah. Buckets is my boy. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother for real. You know, Buckets, he actually mixed the album. He was the engineer, the recording engineer for the album. And low key, it was actually a whole mistake that Buckets was on that song. He wasn't even slated to do that hook, and that wasn't the hook neither. He changed it. That nigga did. He came through and was like, yeah, I'm finna fix this. And I was like, bet. But no, we actually, we were sitting in the studio, I was recording the verses, and he was talking about the hook, and I didn't know who I wanted to put on it yet. I had a couple people in mind, but I hadn't necessarily reached out to 2 of the 3 of them that I had in mind. But a nigga like me was impatient. I didn't feel like waiting for the people to reply, and I hadn't already hit them up. So instead, Buckets was like, hey bro, why don't you let me do it? And I was like, hey, go ahead, hit it. And he actually came back the next day with something new, and he sent it to me. I said, wait a minute, this ain't the shit I left you with. And I listened to it about 3 more times. I was like, hey, this is a hit. This is real. So I got blessed. I really got lucky. That man came through and floated on that motherfucker, and it hit perfectly. It was exactly what it needed to be. And that song means a lot to me, so that meant something to me that he came through and put his touch on it. Oh man, when I wrote Villain, that was actually the last song that I wrote for the album. I don't know how that ended up happening, but it came from, I think I was running from the truth with that, and I didn't want to actually face the fact that I was finna write those words and actually look at it and see it on paper and understand. You know, it's like really looking at yourself in the mirror when you writing shit down and it's really true about you, and it's self-reflection, and sometimes you don't want to see that. And I think when I was writing that song, I was going through a real down low period. I was out in San Diego, and I was like kind of just by myself, you know what I mean, for a minute, and shit was getting a little weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, time was getting crunched, money was tight, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't so much fun no more. Shit started to get real, life started to hit, and I was in a real low point. And I had to find a way to pull myself out of it. But before you can pull yourself out of a situation, you have to see yourself in it. And once you see yourself in it, you can figure the way to how to get out of it. And that song was a byproduct of that. Like, me looking at myself in that situation and realizing that the shit that I was doing, the life that I was living, the way that I was acting wasn't the way that I should be going about my shit. And I had to clean that shit up and get right. But before I get right, let me purge one last time.
She just wanna play her. Hey, pray to God forgive me for this life I'm living. Hella sinning, drugs inside my system, losing my religion. Fucked up. Pray to God forgive me for this life I'm living. Hella
Taking musical influence. To be honest, if we're talking like industry level, we're talking bigger artists, a lot of Currency. A lot of Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs is a teacher like a mug. Like, that man can rap his ass off. And Freddie Gibbs, if you watching this motherfucker, hit me up. Cause I'm trying to, hit me up. Cause I can out rap you for real. But, we're gonna cut that part. But anyway, Freddie Gibbs, Currency, let's see, obviously like the greats like Hove, Nas. I fuck with Cole, that's a lot of inspiration. Kendrick, I draw inspiration from everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to all types of different music, take it to different genres and different time periods to try to teach myself how to feel a song and you know what I'm saying, how to make the perfect song. It's all about being a student of the game, and it's more than just hip hop.
So speaking of music and hip hop, how do you feel about the direction that it's been going in over the past couple of years?
I love the direction that hip hop is going in right now. A lot of people are still, you know, on that, you know, old head. These new niggas is not doing it right. I don't believe that. I love what they be doing. A lot of the times I don't, you know what I'm saying, agree with it, or I don't play it all the time, but I fuck with the fact that the younger generation has their own sound and they like what they like. But at the same time, at the forefront of hip hop, it's still hip hop at its core, you know what I'm saying? J. Cole drops and everything stops, you feel me? And the same thing for Kendrick, the same thing for Drake, and they still rap, you feel me? They still rap. Drake makes a lot of singing music, but they still rap too. And it's still about hip hop in the core of it, so I feel like it's going in the right direction. As far as locally, there's incredible talent in so many different cities. In the past 3 years, I've been in like 3 different cities and seen the scene in these different places, and a lot of people was talented as hell. So I'm super excited to be in the hip hop scene right now. My new album, Villain, is now streaming everywhere. Anywhere that you get music, the album is available. Go stream that right now.
Drugs inside my system, losing my religion. Fucked up. Pray to God forgive me for this life I'm living. Hella sinning. Drugs inside my system.